Story time on how I accidentally got in a high-speed police car chase. The whole time a bitch just wanted pizza, but somehow I ended up in jail. So there was this new guy at my job. He had been working for like a week. So one night I was home alone, no food in the house, and I had gotten a text from the guy at work asking if I wanted to go out with him and his homeboy. They were gonna go get food. If he's asking, that means he's paying. Y'all know I don't play about my free food. I didn't have a car, so they came to pick me up. I got into the car, there was like 5 dudes. He said homeboy. So I was confused. Like, why is there 5 Negroes in the car? Anyway, so we started driving to the restaurant. We were all in the car and the guy from work was sitting right next to me. His friend who was driving gets a call. When he hangs up, he looks at us and says, "We got business." I'm thinking, we? Business? Like a business transaction? We signing contract? I was dead wrong. This Negro takes the wheel and makes a U-turn in the middle of traffic. Eventually pull up on this guy that was walking on the side of the street. They all get out of the car and start whooping this man. And I'm thinking, damn, I ain't get my pizza tonight. Eventually, we see red and blue lights. There was a cop parked on the corner. They run back in the car and we speed off and the cop speeds right after us. Part 2 of how I accidentally got into a high-speed police car chase. So after jumping that random guy on the side of the street, they see a cop car pulling up and so they get back into the car and we speed off and the cop car speeds right after us. I was scared as hell, so I told the driver, slow down. He looks back and tells me to shut my twig ass up. I shut my twig ass up. Dude must have thought he was in a movie running red lights, turning street. He didn't really get far. He ended up crashing the car. So the police get out the car. There's like multiple police cars pulling up now. They get us out of the car and start to arrest us. I'm trying to tell them like, I just wanted pizza. I don't even know these niggas. One of the guys tried to make a run for it, but he was sagging, so he ended up tripping on his own pants like a dumbass. And so yeah, we all get arrested and get taken to jail. When we got to the jail, they questioned us. I was expecting the guys to tell the cops the truth. I just wanted pizza and I had no part in what they did. But no, they actually told the cops that I was involved. And not only was I involved, but that it was my plan to beat up that guy on the side of the street. Yeah, I didn't go home from jail that night. Like for part 3.
They deliver my Lambo, all white with a tambo. My body's a work of art, he eating his Van Gogh. I'm not in the bando, I'm Pablo Sandoz. White beaches, candles, we sexin' Anglo. What you think all these niggas wanna cuff for? A lot of bloods, what you think they in the cut for? Yeah, it's the sweep, I ain't talking when the dust fall. My winning streak still hasn't peaked, you little dust ball. Bitch, I'm a star, me and Smiley, G-Force Vice, show me on the runway, Ricardo, Tishy, and Milan, you see me modeling, Dinner with car, like a for y'all. Yeah, this that Stephen Klein, Merton Marcus, Yeah, just to take a picture, I go raise the bar. I'm bitchy, really bitchy, America's next top model, call me, Every time I score, she gon' hear them swishers, Tell that.
Part 3 of how I accidentally got into a high-speed police car chase. So after we got arrested, we went to jail and the police questioned us. The guys had told the police that I was the one who made the plan to beat up this random guy on the side of the street and that I was the one telling them to drive to get away from the police and everything. That was a whole bunch of bullshit, and thankfully I had proof that it was bullshit. But they made me spend the night in jail anyways. The next day I had showed them on my phone the text message that the guy from work had sent me asking me to hang out with him that night, which completely proved that everything that him and his friends said blaming everything on me was a lie, because they had said that I was the one who hit them up and asked for a ride. I had text messages that said otherwise. They basically just did a little call test to see if that number was actually his number. His phone rang and they let me go home. Well, the next day I called my manager and let him know what happened, and from there on out I never saw him at work again. So I'm guessing that he either went to prison or he got fired. Story time on how I found out my best friend's boyfriend was abusing her. But not only was he abusing her, he had lured her into a cult and was using her for sacrifice. So me and my best friend were living together at the time. She was sitting on the couch taking surveys to make money online. She had made $3K in one day by doing these surveys. Link in my bio if you want to make bank. So she told me about this guy that she had been seeing. I was really happy for her because she had recently just gone through a bad breakup. So the longer they were together, she started to get really sick really fast. She was a super healthy girl, like she worked out, she ate right. So the fact that she rapidly started getting sick as soon as she got a new boyfriend kind of worried me. So I tried to talk to her about it, but she got really mad at me. I was trying to tell her to go to the hospital to at least get checked out, but she kept refusing, and as we were arguing, she damn near passed out because how weak and sick she was. I didn't see her for a couple days after that. I thought that she had left the house after we argued. Well, after those few days, I started to notice a really bad smell coming from her room. So I go to check it out. When I open the door, I see her body just laying there. Laying there covered in satanic symbols, the circle with the star in the middle, and there was blood coming out of her mouth. I ran out of time, so like for part 2. Part 2 of how I found out my best friend was getting abused by her boyfriend and how he lured her into a cult to use her for sacrifice. So like I said, I walked into my best friend's room and her body was just laying there. She was covered in satanic symbols and had blood coming out of her mouth. I thought that she had left the house after we argued and went to stay with someone else. I didn't see her coming in and out of the house and she wasn't texting me. We did get into an argument and I thought she wasn't talking to me because she wanted to cool off. So I immediately called the police. They took her to the hospital and they also looked around her room and around the house. Well, when they looked around her room, they had found chewed up dead rats in her closet. They had found out that it was her eating those dead rats when she had went to the hospital and they found it in her system. She ended up being in a coma. The police seemed really suspicious of me and was asking me a lot of questions. It does make sense because I was the last person to be seen with her. Well, a few days later, I get a knock on my door. It's the police. They arrested me on suspicion of trying to kill my own best friend. But not because they were suspicious of me, but because my best friend's boyfriend had told the police that my best friend had told him she had overheard a conversation while I was on the phone about me trying to get rid of her for good. Part 3 of how I found out my best friend was getting abused by her boyfriend and he had lured her into a cult to use her for sacrifice. The police had showed up at my house and had arrested me for suspicion of trying to murder my own best friend. Because my best friend's boyfriend had told them that I had a plan to get rid of her for good. So police took me into custody. Apparently my best friend's boyfriend had evidence against me, which was a note that she had written saying that I had a plan to get rid of her, which she had given to her boyfriend who didn't know what to do with it until now. She had signed that note. They had checked the signature, handwriting, and the way that the letter was written with her parents just to make sure that it was really her. And her parents said, yes, this is 100% her. Mind you, I was completely innocent. Whatever she wrote in this letter was not true. My best friend is not the type to make up lies like that, especially about people who are really close to her. That's when I knew that her boyfriend definitely did something. Well, a miracle happened, child. A miracle happened. My best friend woke up from her coma. She said she was done being brainwashed by her boyfriend and she was ready to tell the police everything about the truth. Part 4, how I found out my best friend's boyfriend was abusing her and lured her into a cult to use her for sacrifice. So while my best friend's boyfriend is trying to tell everybody that I tried to kill my own best friend, she woke up from her coma. She was ready to tell police everything. She said she had met him in the library and they were looking for the exact same book. They started talking, he asked her out on a date, and everything was good from there. He was actually really sweet. He spoiled her, gave her everything that she wanted, and then he started inviting her to these therapy meetings. In these meetings, they would do satanic rituals. They would literally do chants and draw satanic symbols all over their body. And obviously this wasn't her thing, so she told her boyfriend that she didn't want to go to those meetings anymore. Well, that's when he started abusing her and saying things like, I buy you every single thing that you want and this is how you're gonna treat me. She was so blindly in love with him that she kept going to these meetings. And she never told anyone because she was scared of what he would do. Well, she started to get more and more uncomfortable around him and he started to notice that. And in one of these meetings, they said that they would need a volunteer to eat dead rats for a sacrifice. Her boyfriend offered for her to do it. For part 5 of how I found out my best friend's boyfriend was abusing her and tried to lure her into a cult to use her for sacrifice. So like I said, her boyfriend was taking her to these meetings. It was a cult. In one of the meetings, they needed somebody to eat dead rats for a sacrifice. And her boyfriend basically offered up his girlfriend, my best friend. What the sacrifice was for, I have no idea. Anyway, so yeah, she's eating the dead rats and shit. And basically eating all these dead rats was supposed to like kill her. And he basically told her if he didn't eat the dead rats, then he would get his guys from the meeting to do something to her. Well, eventually the day of the sacrifice came. So one day he forced her to write the note. He was the one who forced her to write it. She didn't write it herself willingly. To basically say that it was me who put her in a coma and it was actually him, so he didn't get in trouble. They arrested him and he went to jail. This story time was sent to me by a follower and it actually involves a very popular creator on this app. They actually have millions of followers. Let's get into it. So this girl first started talking to this creator when she DM'd him and he actually replied. She thought he was really cute. He thought she was really cute and they exchanged numbers. Ended up meeting up at Playlist and he invited her to chill in his Airbnb. Well, things got a little bit freaky deaky in that Airbnb. You know, they was fucking. Afterwards, they just kind of chilled. They were laid up talking about life, you know, all that deep shit. And eventually he told her that she had to leave because his boys were coming through or whatever. They just wanted to chill and talk about boy stuff. But before she left, he told her that he loved her and he wanted to be with her. What the fuck is going on here? Let me fix that real quick. Okay, we back. So she left and went to tell her friends what just happened. Hours had passed and she noticed that he wasn't really posting on his story anymore. And he usually posts a lot. Well, her friend opened Snapchat, noticed that he actually did post. He posted hours ago. And he was with another girl. Part 2. So I just received a very cute package that has some very cute items inside. I just want to make a public service announcement that I will be eating the girlies up on my Instagram very soon. Very soon I will be eating the girlies up. I post all of my makeup inspo on there. All of the story time receipts that I have in my stories are all on my Instagram. And I get most of my stories submitted on my Instagram as well. So make sure to go follow my Instagram, guys. I'm trying to get to 100K. I also take stories on my Snapchat, so make sure to go add my Snapchat. I post a lot of updates on my Snapchat and my Instagram story when I'm going to post a story time, if I posted a story time already. Also when I go live, so you guys don't miss my lives. Love you guys so much, and if you love me and you support me, then make sure to go follow my Instagram and add me on Snapchat. You guys, I'm having technical difficulties as of right now, and I've been trying to post part 2 since last night. My phone is glitching out. It's ghetto. It always glitches out all the time, but I usually post like the next part of a story time right after. If you follow me, you know I posted like 5 minutes after. But for some reason, it's just not posting. I tried posting it this morning, and I know some of you saw it, but it just got deleted. So TikTok is not letting me post it. I'm gonna try to post it today. If it's still not posting by today, then I'm probably just going to have to post it on my Instagram reels. So make sure to go follow my Instagram and watch out for that. I'm trying. You guys just work with a bitch. I'm pretty sure my mom got this phone from Africa. They probably did some voodoo shit to it. Do not come from me. I am African. I'll be posting updates on my Instagram. I just couldn't help myself, you know, just a bunch of bullshit. And so I'm like, y'all putting on a show with the amazing actress that I am? Not gonna let me join? You know I always get the lead roles in the plays. Come on. Mind you, I was basically completely over my boyfriend at this point. I already started losing interest in him. This basically just did it for me. So I'm like, hello, lights, camera, action, let's get it going. And so I start to go down on him. Then I just take a big old bite right from his part 3 of my toxic ex-best friend story time. Like I said, I wake up from my own slumber party and see my best friend and my boyfriend getting it in at like 3 a.m. in the morning. I asked to join, and then I took a chomp out of my boyfriend's 𝙤𝙤𝙗𝙧𝙗. And not only did I do that, but right after I took that big ass bite, I turned to my best friend, bit her titty. Now we were all equal, because now they're feeling the pain that I'm feeling. So now my boyfriend's mad. My best friend is crying. And I can't lie, I love to see it. The tears rolling down her face was just, there's something about it. Just made me want to. Anywho, obviously I kicked them out of my house. I need to realize that I had bought my boyfriend a gift. It was over like $500, and I wanted that shit back. So I pulled up to his house, and his mom answered the door. So I'm like, how you doing, Miss Judge Lynn Toller? I am here to get my money from this man. He did end up giving me back the gift. Getting a lot of texts from my best friend at the time. She was just trying to apologize, trying to make it seem like she really felt bad or something. After I completely ignored her and left her on red, she went ahead and posted a video of her on top of my boyfriend. You can see me sleeping next to them in the video. Part 4 of my toxic ex-best friend story time. So like I said, I kicked my boyfriend out and my best friend out after I saw them sleeping together at my slumber party. One day I started getting flooded with texts, and then I get sent a video that my best friend posted of her on top of my boyfriend, and you can see me sleeping in the video right next to them. Obviously, I was 1, embarrassed, and 2, thinking of an escape plan for when I have to escape from jail. I'm just kidding. I wanted to be petty, but I decided to take the smarter route instead. I didn't even bother texting her or saying anything to her at all. I just screenshotted all the videos that she was posting from her account. Not to mention she captioned it, couldn't even keep your man. Sis, didn't even want him. Anywho, she also posted a video of a voice recording of us all talking shit about her ex-best friend. All of us were talking shit, but she said in the caption that it was just me. Well, my other close friends were there, and they vouched for me that it wasn't just me. So she just looked dumb. And I just ended up telling the school what happened. I brought other people who saw what happened for proof, because having the pictures of my phone would get me in trouble. And so she ended up getting expelled and got charged for having and spreading child pornography. This is part 2 of my quick story time, and please listen because I need advice. Like I said, I go over to my white boyfriend's house for the first time, and the first thing I see is a Confederate flag. Don't know why I was surprised. Now that I think of it, I should have expected that. Then his mother approaches me with scissors, cuts off a piece of my hair, then she pulls away and says, jokingly, "It's like we have an intruder." Once I started looking around even more, I started noticing some things these white folks had, and I quote, Negro collectibles. Let me tell y'all about this shit. Y'all see this? Yep, that's Negro collectibles. Here's another one. Basically, they collect racist items. I know about those collectibles. My mom always told me, watch out for the people that own that shit. I was in the sunken place. Those are them serial killer white people. Obviously, her cutting off my hair and seeing those collectibles set off my fight or flight. Guess which one I chose? Not flight. I snatched the scissors out of her hands. I'm aiming it at the racists, telling them to stay back. So she calls out for her husband, and he brings a rifle. Part 3 of my quick story time, and please listen all the way through because I need advice. So I'm at my boyfriend's house. His mom cuts off a piece of my hair, and I look around the house and I'm seeing Confederate flag mat, racist collectible items. Well, after she cuts off a piece of my hair, I was ready to fight. I grabbed the scissors out of her hands and aimed it at her and my boyfriend. I told him that they could both get it. And she tries to hit me with the, "I know you're not threatening me in my own home." B, I was threatened as soon as I walked into your home. Who approaches a black person with scissors and you literally collect racist items and have a Confederate flag? Bring your grandma up here. I'ma threaten her too. She calls out for her husband and he brings out a rifle. So I try to make a run for it to my car. Well, she throws the pieces of my hair that she cut off at me and says, "And you can take your naps with you." I'm not even hearing her. I get into my car and put the keys in, child. This crazy old white lady grabs the rifle from her husband and starts banging my car with it. That bitch thought I was playing with her. I wasn't. I ran her ass over twice, forwards and backwards. I was not playing with that crooked tooth bitch.